Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be on this big, beautiful planet we call home, and welcome to the Drinks and Dave Show.
That's us, buddy.
How are you?
You were just bitching right before we went into our countdown about how cold you're tired of it being cold. Isn't it much better than your butt sticking to the car seat because it's hot?
This is how cold it is for the last 4 days in the mornings. It's terrible. Okay. As everybody knows, we live in the great state of Arizona where, for June, July, and August and part of September, we fly very close to Mercury and the surface of the sun. Temperatures reaching well above 100 and 110 degrees, but we have cool lightning storms. But in this time of year, we're usually in the 70s. Beautiful 70s, 60s. January can get a little bit cold, but last week we were supposed to have rain and some snow. And we live north of town, so we're almost just under 4,000 feet. So we were supposed to have snow. Didn't get any snow. Clear as a bell, beautiful weather, but we have had hard freeze of 26 to 30 degrees for the last 5 days. And if you're going to give me freezing temperatures, because right now, if you look outside my kitchen window, it looks like we have a plethora. That's right. I said plethora of ghosts throughout the yard because we've had to cover all the plants. Ghosts.
Oh, ghosts.
Well, we'd like to have goats, but that's a different story.
But they'd be cold. You'd have to put coats on them. Goat coats.
Right. Goat.
But would you rather have this or the 110?
The 110.
Really?
Yeah. Hello, Linda. How are you?
I realized, that when I'm out here, I'll be out on the deck and the sun will go down, the temperature will drop, and I'll be getting kind of cold. And my wife will say, wasn't it cold out there? And I realize what I do is I'll start feeling cold, like, oh, I should put a jacket on, I'm cold. But then I think about how it feels to be uncomfortably hot, like hot weather. And I'm like, oh, this is so much better. And then I can just deal with it.
No, because when it's cold, you can only put on so many layers before you start looking like a tick.
That's opposite.
But when it's hot,
you can only take off so much.
No, you spritz yourself with some water. You jump in the pool. Hello, Penteja. I gotta post this before we get started because I'm kind of scared. You can always put on a sweater, but you can only remove so many man six clothes.
Many man clothes.
Yeah, but it says man six clothes. Yeah. It says man six clothes. But I'm worried about this statement right here by Tig Lily. Is she talking about me or you?
No, it's talking about nothing. And we had these quotes in there about from Socrates.
But remember, we're talking about nothing, but there's nothing wrong with that. If you get the Seinfeld reference. Because that's what our show about really is, Seinfeld, because I didn't post it, but there's a picture of me, my graduation picture from high school.
Oh, yeah.
I look just like, you've seen it. I look just like Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah.
You're a vision. You are.
Anyhow, so what are you smoking tonight?
I'm finishing up a Crazy Alice, and then we'll be moving on to the Metropolitan Host, the official cigar, Drinks and Daves.
And I am for you and the anniversary of this show, whatever the anniversary is, I don't know because it's nothing. I am smoking a 90th anniversary Padron 1926, a delicious cigar, and I won't tell Tig Lily how much I spent for it. But I have to give her props. I have to give Tig Lily props. We were talking about this. Let me read this first. Drinking what a friend from the Agriculture of Commerce and State gifted me. Nothing vodka from Thompson's Station, Tennessee. Wow, he might be more bougie than you.
He might be. I mean, he's getting there. Like we said, we don't, or he's making all this shit up. We don't know.
Right. So anyhow, I have to give Tig Lily props because, as you know, we had a Zoom call on the TSC yesterday, and we were talking about pot roast. That is my wife's absolute 100% favorite meal whatsoever. I am usually indifferent about it. She goes, "You want to have pot roast?" And I go, "Can we have tacos?" Or something like that.
You were drooling over it yesterday.
Yeah. For some reason, yes. Well, she's been teasing me for the last 3 days about having homemade pot roast. So yeah. So while we're on the Zoom call, as you know, I'm telling everybody what the smells are like. Oh dear Lord, my God! It was the best pot roast I've ever eaten in my life.
Hmm.
I mean, just the way she did the meat, it was falling off, and then the carrots and the potatoes and the onions, and it was a thick gravy. Oh my God, it was great.
See,
And we're
that's
eating that
one of
again.
those that I think I've been led astray by what I had as a child. The only pot roast I remember having is from my grandmother, and it was usually fairly dry, and so I had to put a lot of salt on it to get some flavor out of it. And I
No,
don't think I've ever had it as an adult.
this is like she makes a little bit of a roux. So when she browns the meat, and you can get the cheapest meat, you get just chuck, a big chuck roast, and she browns the meat, puts a little bit of flour on it, then makes a roux with that flour, and then cooks the meat in that mixture, and then it forms some juices, and then she'll throw the carrots and potatoes and onions in, and it forms this thick gravy. So you actually eat it in a bowl. And
Wow.
I put more pepper. She peppers it enough, but I put even more pepper on it, and then hot sauce, and have it with some croissants, mini croissants. Oh. Yeah, it's not a diabetic friendly.
Wait, pot roast and croissants? I don't think that's the traditional. Aren't you supposed to have taters?
No,
Mashed potatoes?
there's taters in
Hmm.
it. There's potatoes in it. There's
Oh,
really,
okay.
really, and see what's neat is the potatoes start to emulsify, and so it makes the gravy even thicker. And it's even better the next day.
I was
So
gonna say you got leftovers, huh?
yeah. So what are you drinking tonight? Anything specific?
Specific. I'm drinking Dewar's 12-year, which is not. You can't see it. Is not as bad as I thought. It was a gift for Christmas, and it's pretty good.
Really?
I'm actually surprised. Yeah.
Well, that's like I got that Macallan 12, and I'm not a big fan of Macallan, but it was really delicious.
It's pretty
Tonight
smooth, huh?
tonight I am drinking. I'm being very bougie. I am drinking SodaStream Pepsi Zero in a Guinness glass.
Whoa! Way to live that. Oh, that reminds me. I forgot. I was supposed to drink that Guinness and see what I thought of it, and it's.
Do you have it? Where
I
is it?
forgot about it. It's in the fridge.
Well, go get it.
Go. I'm not.
Oh, that's right.
insane.
I forget. I keep forgetting you live on a plantation where it's like a quarter of a mile to your house because you have to go by warehouse
It's back
one,
yonder.
warehouse two.
It's back yonder. No, you wouldn't believe. You get to just sit down and do the show. When I get home, it's a whole production, bringing everything out, and I'm wedged in here. So
look at this.
Well, should I wait? But should I try it after a cigar?
You should drink it with a cigar.
Now
right. remember when you pour, because I assume you don't have a Guinness glass, right?
No, I don't have a Guinness glass.
So you got to pour it until it gets about a quarter of the way up the glass, then tilt it completely forward and let that foam
head, huh?
Let that really render before you drink it.
This is a big buildup to a lot of disappointment when I go, oh, this tastes like beer.
It's not. It doesn't taste anything like beer. And everybody inside the barflies are sitting here with bated breath, going, "Will he like it? Will he not like it?"
I'm excited. The key would be: does it pair good with Cool Ranch Doritos?
Everything pairs good with Cool Ranch Doritos
and Oreos.
oh, that is like the ultimate snack. I mean, really, Cool Ranch Doritos. Although I told you this once before. Here we are on food again. They used to make a green onion and sesame Dorito. Oh, I miss those so much. I miss them.
I would like that.
So, no, I didn't say I am Macallan 12-year.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm just because I like, quite frankly, because I like Islay scotches better. I like smoky scotches. Islay. Okay. So is that the one with the nitrogen ball in it?
Yeah, here's something dinging.
Okay, so when you pull it, you'll let that, it'll squeal at you a little bit. It'll squeal like a pig.
So excited! I don't want it all over me though. Let's see.
It won't go all over you. There it is. Okay. Now, what kind of glass do you have?
Well, you can't hardly see it anymore. It says Oregon State on there. But
that's okay. Okay, yeah. So where's the logo on the Oregon State? Let me see.
Can you see it?
Okay, so tilt the glass and pour the beer until you get to the bottom of the logo.
All right.
And we can't see shit.
Oh no, you can't. Yeah, you can't. You can't.
Okay, there you go. Okay, and then when you get to the bottom of it,
right?
Now just straight up and pour. Oh. Oh, the elixir. That sounds so good.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, it doesn't hold quite a hole.
Okay, and then just let that render for a little bit.
Okay.
And let until you want to get ahead of about that big. And
Oh
then-
yeah, the bubbles are. It's like the
Yes.
opposite of champagne. The bubbles are
Yes.
falling.
Mhm.
That's cute. Yeah. All right. We'll let
If
that
you
sit for a
like-
minute then.
If you like coffee, you should like Guinness. You really should.
Okay.
You should like because it's not carbonated. That's the thing that's going to blow you away. Is
Well, it's
it's not?
nitrogen, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't. But Guinness does not taste like how a beer tastes really heavily carbonated. This
Yeah.
won't. This is smooth and creamy.
Well,
and
again, like I
delicious.
said, this is a problem if I end up liking it because this is not carb friendly for sure.
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, so how's everything else? You got
Good.
a big trip coming up. Well, wait, not coming up. You some months away. right?
June.
June.
You have been ordered to save some
I
for
see
Pantera.
that. All right,
Well,
can I try it now?
and yeah, you can try it now. Just drink it. Big swig. Come on. There you go. Doesn't taste like
Well, I-
beer.
It's so. Yeah.
Oh, smack.
I saw that.
Shotgun.
I don't know.
So what do you think?
James Bond drinks scotch. He did not drink Guinness. I don't think he ever drank Guinness in a movie.
No, because
If I were in a bar with guys, I think I could order this just to fit in with the crowd, and I could.
well, that
drink
was
it.
your first taste,
No,
so that was the
okay.
palate starter. Now try it
Mm.
again.
That's true.
You taste the coffee in it?
If I think about it, it's like I got cigar taste now in my mouth, like that amplified the
Mm-hmm.
ashy flavor. I think.
Better with the second?
It's still bitter to me. It tastes bitter.
Throw some hot sauce in it and see what you think.
So, can I get some Splenda?
Okay, so Sean, according to PB, Sean
Yeah.
Connery did drink Guinness.
Well, Sean Connery, yes. Not James.
Oh, not well, but actually, everybody always said that James Bond used Florus 89. He used Florus 89, and
Yeah.
he didn't.
The aftertaste builds into something I don't enjoy at all.
Okay. Well,
All right,
okay. Wait.
now I know.
We're not done experimenting. Do you have your Cool Ranch Doritos there?
No, I don't. I was just
okay.
curious. I mean,
I'd be interested to see what Pantea thinks.
oh, I'm sure she's had it. She drinks. She'll have a beer from time to time.
Hmm.
Very rarely, but she'll drink a beer. But I don't. It's okay if there's one type of alcohol I don't enjoy. No, I don't need the Cool Ranch. We're okay. So anyway, we're both looking at cars. I think my purchase is more imminent than yours. Oh well, you can come. I'm not drinking anymore. You can come get the glass now if you wanna.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily. We found another Jeep that we're going to go take a look at tomorrow, but this one is set up for the apocalypse. I mean, this guy's got heavy duty skid plates, a winch on both sides. Yeah.
Now,
So.
see, that's a hobby that I would love to get into, but I won't.
Big
When,
money.
Big what?
Money.
The
Big money.
off-roading stuff.
Well, one of my clients bought a brand new 4-door Rubicon diesel. They make a diesel version that's really torque powerful, and
Okay.
that was probably close to 65 to 70,000. He spent another 100 making it the way he wanted it.
Well,
Yeah, big bucks, but that's okay. Hey,
yeah. If you enjoy, but I think it would be now. I don't want to do, you see those guys that are like do the rock crawling, right? Super slow, like all this technical. That doesn't look fun.
No.
to me. I want
just
like,
going up a trail in the mountains.
blasting it out and spraying mud and
Yeah, and see,
Yeah.
that's what this one that we're looking at will do. Because see, we've got three choices. We're looking at a Fiat 500 only because it's light,
yeah,
it's easy to tow.
So what? Yeah, so you're going on a big camping trip, and
Yes,
you
in
need
June.
a tow
in June.
vehicle to tow behind your RV.
Mhm. Well, we don't need one, but
Yeah,
we want one. Yeah, because we want to get to the camp, set up the camp, and then drive everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
But so okay, so a Fiat would make sense because, like you said, it's small and it's
easy to
light.
tow, right?
A
But you can't
Jeep
go off
would
road.
look more appropriate in a camp, but you got no need for that, right?
Well, but if we want to go, as you know, my better half is a rock hound. So if she wants to go off road and go get,
Oh.
30-ton rocks, um,
There you go.
I
She
knew
likes the Guinness.
I knew I loved Pantea. I knew I loved her for multiple reasons, and this is just one more cherry on the top.
One of the many.
One of the many. Yes, you are such a lucky man.
Now, if we can get her into cigars.
Oh, wait! You need to do this and say, "Yes, you're right, David. I'm a lucky man. Thank you." Okay, I'm just trying. I'm trying to protect you there, man, because that getting tossed off your balcony, that's a long drop. So we've got three options we're looking at. We're looking at a Honda CRV, again, very light, all-wheel drive, but not really four-wheel drive, meaning you can't go boonie hopping with it. There's the Fiat 500 because it's small but my only aversion to the Fiat 500 is they're ugly as sin.
You've got two large dogs.
Yes.
I don't see them fitting in there comfortably.
I think it would be funny, but the Jeep they could fit in, and the CRV and the CRV.
Well, the Jeep, it's like you have this dream that you'd get some kind of thing that you could clamp the dogs in, so you could have the doors and the top off, and you'd just be driving around, and they'd be having a blast. Yeah.
And so we're thinking about that. And I'm curious about this. A Fiat will break your heart. But see, Fiat is owned by Stellantis, who owns Ferrari and everything else. And so and Jeep is owned by the same company. It's the same company. So
I think he means compared to what you drive now, and then you would get in that and be embarrassed.
But then again, it might be like a go-kart. That might be kind of fun.
Now, if you could get one with a removable top.
I'm not sure about the one we're looking. Well, I know they have one that has a big sunroof on it. Actually, P-Beat, I had a 1973 FJ40 that had a 427 in it. And I kicked myself in the butt for ever getting rid of it. But you never know. So we're going to, as you know, Chad, my partner in the shaving cadre, we are leaving here, I think, around the 16th or 17th of June, and we're going to spend one night in the Sanctuary, which is an animal rescue organization.
Oh, I thought it was like an adults-only resort.
No,
Okay.
No, you sicko. It's an animal sanctuary. It's an animal rescue in Kanab, Utah. So it's among the red rocks and everything else. We're going to stay one night there. Then we're going to go to Salt Lake City and stay a night or two. Because Chad and his dad both have RVs. So his dad and his mom are going, and then Chad and his herd of people, Megan, oh God, I better get this right. Emily, Sharon, help me out here. Connor, and oh God. Anyhow, the whole family is going. And we're going to go, we're going to spend, I think 4 or 5 nights in Yellowstone. And then we're going to spend 2 nights in Grand Teton National Park. So we'll be gone about 3 weeks total.
Yeah.
We'll get back.
That's a long time.
July 4th, I think, July 4th weekend. It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. So the reason why because we just want to set up camp and then be able to drive through, because driving through Yellowstone in a large vehicle is not fun. Because everybody stops if they see a horn. It's a bison, stop, and everybody gets out of their cars and goes and wants to take pictures of this close 5,000-pound animal that wants to do nothing but stomp you. Yeah. In fact, quick story. We were on a motorcycle run about probably 10 years ago, and we tent camped. And I'll never do that again. And we were in Yellowstone, and we were driving through the Lamar Valley, which is a valley that's known for wolf and bear and bison. Well, we had to stop because the bison were crossing the road, and then they turned and started coming up the road. a whole herd of them. And, and at the time I was riding a bike that, and they were honing in on that. So I looked at my buddy next to me. I said, shut your engine off. So we shut the engine off, and literally we sat there, and my wife and my buddy's wife were in the truck behind us. And we just sat there, and I swear this bison walked by, and I'm just like, if he decides we're dead, we're dead, we're dead. Because there was nowhere to go because everybody was stopped. Yeah, we would have had to bail off the bikes and run. And then, of course, the wolf was probably sitting in the grass waiting for us. And then once he got us, then the bear would have eaten the wolf and then eaten us. So, yeah, it was exciting.
Yeah, that was back before YouTube, so there would have been no video anyway, so it wouldn't have been worth it.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So what you guys doing any trips this year? Or are kind of over in the air?
Yeah, we don't know. We got we got a timeshare in Hawaii, so we need to pick a week to go out there. We're gonna do that, and then the big cruise isn't until like end of September. So
okay, now your timeshare is it a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom?
It's one of those where you don't get a specific room on a specific week. You just get enough points that you could get a week there. But we are going to use it in Hawaii this year. So,
and do you have a week or a week, and do you have points enough for a 2-bedroom?
A week? No, a 1-bedroom in Hawaii. I think if we went to Arizona,
you saw where I was going with that.
I think in Arizona we could get a 7-bedroom for about a month and a half.
Absolutely. The only thing you have to do is feed the coyotes. But that's one thing I'm hoping that you and Panteo come out one of these Februarys for the Gem Show, because I know you guys like that kind of stuff. Because it's about to kick off next month in rodeo. That's the thing. I don't know about how it is in San Francisco, but here when they do events, instead of spreading them out throughout the year, they seem to always do them the same weekend. So we've got the rodeo, the Gem Show, so people have to make a decision which one they want to go see.
Oh, here it's, what is it, Labor Day, whatever's in September. Everything seems to be piled in that weekend is when they do a ton.
Yeah, and see, I was doing that because I'm sure Sharon was mentally poking me saying, hey, if he's got a timeshare in Hawaii, we can pay half of it and we can go to Hawaii. So what is this? You're going to Treasure? You're going to go on the Treasure? What is that?
That's the new Disney ship.
Ah.
Yes. My wife, for a while there, we were making, we had sailed all the ships, and then they came out with the new one, so we sailed that one. And now they're coming out with a couple more. And I told her, we can't keep up with this, always doing the...
But the Disney ships are more the retro,
the
really...
old ones.
Oh, okay.
Now, the new ones look like that on the outside, but the inside is not that... What's retro? That styling? Yeah,
right. But it's not like some of these other cruise lines where you have 14,000.
It doesn't look like Vegas.
Yeah, you don't have 14,000 people on there, right?
Well, the new ones are big. What is it? 7,000 guests?
Wow,
that's
huge.
It's spread out. I mean, yeah, but it doesn't have the big, huge courtyard in the middle that looks like a shopping mall and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. See, I like the older. We used to cruise Celebrity, and some of their older ships that have the teak decks and the actual porthole. I mean, it was just I don't know. It seemed more, I don't know, retro than that.
Yeah, they still do that. They have the big portholes and they're padded on the bottom, so you can sit in there and read or whatever. But so we're looking for another car too.
Right.
And we were, so we actually have, my wife's, what she's looking for. I've never bought a used car in my life. So we're looking for a used one, but what she wants is very specific. So it's hard to find. So we've got one that's currently being shipped from Las Vegas, for us to take a look at, but we're getting another Tesla.
Right.
And so that was one of the things, there've been a couple of things that's kind of gotten me triggered recently, but we're good at complaining, you and I.
No.
And well, I've been told. I think it's natural talent.
Yes.
But you got and it's weird to hear because we're in the heart of Tesla land here, so they're all over the place, right?
Right.
But you get comments from other folks that say, "Oh my God, not Tesla, not this and that," and I'm still. I've always been confused by that, right? Because sometimes you get a certain section of the population who's into the big pickup trucks and lifted and all this, and they're like Tesla. And I, like American, not taking into account that it's an American company and the car's made actually in America
Right.
and all that stuff. But I was thinking about it even more recently when, because people will argue that, well, you're not saving the environment because of you got to make electricity anyway. I thought, it's interesting that there's an assumption there. The only reason you would get one of these cars is to save the environment. I was thinking,
And that's,
gas
and I agree.
powered. If you had the performance of technology in a gas powered car that these do, I'd still want that.
Right. Well, it's funny because I don't know if you knew this, but Lucid, who is a competitor to Tesla, actually has their main manufacturing in Phoenix, just south of Phoenix in Glendale. And we've looked at the Lucid and we've looked at them. And the thing that scares me about Lucid is when you look at the viability of the company long term. Yeah. Tesla's not going anywhere. We know that. Yeah. And the way I look at Tesla is that when I was looking, the Corvette kind of fell in our lap, but we were looking at a Model S like what you have. And the only thing that especially in Arizona, because of the distances, that's one of my concerns. But yet I showed you a picture of that Tesla charging place that we have down south of us that is huge. I mean, they've got 45 Tesla fast chargers. So, people that argue that say, oh, you can't find a place to charge them, that's bogus. People that say that they're bad for the environment. Well, you could argue that the lithium batteries, but the problem is the lithium that's no different than the oil that we're pumping and fracking out of the ground. So to me, they're equal as far as what they do or what they don't do I don't think you buy a Tesla, in my mind, for the environment. I think you buy it for the technology, you buy it for the fun because they're faster than snot. We know that. And I think you buy a Tesla. They're a gorgeous car. I mean, the S is just a stunningly gorgeous car. Yeah. And my only reservation on Tesla right now is just the battery, the distance.
Yeah.
Like if they were at 500 to 600 miles in a charge, I'd be all over it. And I think they need, Elon needs to say, hey, okay, I know that they cost so much, but you need to bring that price down.
But see the Model 3, and I didn't want to get into just
no, that's okay.
Whether it's good or not. But I think
the Model 3 this is a show about nothing.
Is the number one selling model of any car in the United States because it's under. Well, I don't even know what it starts at anymore. 35,000 or something.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, really?
Cheap.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, see,
so they've got like a base model 2-wheel drive. That'll still beat half the stuff off this.
Well, see, I'm a geek as far as tech stuff. You know that.
Yeah.
And the other day, we were talking about this. The other day, one of my clients, after he got done with his haircut, he had just bought a Model 3, and it was parked. Oh, probably the way our parking lot is set up, it was at the far end of the parking lot, so it was probably 600 yards away, probably, and it was raining. And he goes, God, I know what I'm going to do, and he goes, I'm going to have it. Drive up and meet me under the porte-cochere at the spa, at the Esperanza Spa. And I had never seen this before. So I said, oh, I got to see this. So we walked over to the porte-cochere and he goes, okay, look at the car. And he got on his phone and it said, come to me. And he clicked it. And the thing started up, and it's a pretty intricate parking lot. And it went around the parking lot, cruised around this, and boom, right in front of the porte-cochere. And I was like, that is so cool.
Right?
I'm sorry. It's cool.
So that's what I'm talking about, is like this whole argument of you could make the argument, who cares if it's even good for the environment? What other car can do that? That's pretty cool. We were just watching a video yesterday of I don't think 150 some voice commands that you can do.
Right.
And you can say, my feet are cold, and it'll redirect the air to your feet and turn the heater on.
Well,
I mean, you wouldn't buy a car for that, but that's cool.
Right. Well, and the only other question I have, and you would know this more than I would, is because everything is run off that center console, correct? That central command center. And believe it or not, guess what? My Corvette, same thing. It's run off of the central command center. So like the other day, I think I told you this, my Bluetooth frequency conflicts with the command module. So I couldn't get in the car because of that. And thankfully, Sharon fixed it and stuff like that. But the thing is that's cool about it is, and besides, how many cars in the world can fart?
Have a whoopee cushion, yeah.
Can fart,
Right.
yeah. I mean,
Right.
you
I
know,
mean,
what else? Well, and I drove the Model S, and it's
Yeah.
impressive. I mean, it's quiet, it's comfortable, it's fast. Yeah, I think to me, and this is, and I don't want to get political. I don't want to get political, but I think there's a group of people, and you said California is pretty much Teslaville, so to speak. Although we have a Tesla dealership down the street that doesn't have any other Tesla cars but Cybertrucks in it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
packed with Cybertrucks. But anyway, I think when Musk made his allegiances known, and that's all I'll say on that, I think there is a certain group of people that ignored the technology that he created, and the technology, well, I shouldn't say he created, that he purchased, because the other guys really created it. And they turned tail and said, "Oh, we can't support it because of who he is." And it's like, the car is not who he is. That's like people, and I'm going to get crap for this, the people that don't like Apple. Okay. They don't like Apple because of the people. Now, is it true that the people that work for Apple are a bunch of snodgrass idiots? Yes. They're great. No, they're they are. Well, because a certain individual has dealt with them directly, and they are
but not
very much,
everybody.
no, but the higher end people are prima donnas and stuff like that. But, and for that reason, that person will never, ever, ever own an Apple product.
Okay,
And
so
we have, well, wait a minute. We have this discussion.
Yeah.
I love my Apple product. And I'll tell you what, when this is an iPhone 16 Pro Max, guess what? When the iPhone 17 comes out, I'll probably be one of the first in line, you know.
But here go my more global thinking is the argument you're using. Does that even make sense? Now, it can for you personally, right? So you're like, the mileage doesn't work for me. Okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you would say the only reason I buy it is if it's to save the environment, that's why I want to go electric, and I don't believe it does. Okay, if that's the only reason.
Right.
But what about whoever makes the other next most popular phone? They could be a bunch of jackasses at the top.
Sure.
Of that company.
Well, exactly. And that's my point. Like, to me, if I was to pick a car today from a technology standpoint to save the environment, it would be a hydrogen powered car. The problem is the technology is not there. I mean, it's there because the infrastructure is not there for hydrogen yet. Will it be? Yeah. But see, you're already getting the detractors on hydrogen vehicles saying, "I don't want to be next to you. You're sitting on a hydrogen bomb." Give me a break, please. Give me a break.
Well, so there was two things. One was the car kind of thinking about people's arguments and be like, "Well, take the electric part out of it, right? It's an amazing car anyway." Mm-hmm. And then you got the fires in Southern California, right? They're ravaging everything right now, and certain people, basically because of the way that this state votes, pretty much, and the I don't know, stigma around Hollywood and all that stuff, saying, well, who cares? And let it burn and stuff like that. Or saying, well, they should have prepared. They didn't prepare enough. So it's their own fault. And it's like, well, hold on. The guy that works at like McDonald's who just lost his house, what does that have to do with any of that?
Right. I mean, I think what people do is and one of the worst things that has ever come out on the planet is a software, and we've talked about this, called Nextdoor. It was originally settled to be where you sold stuff, and now it's become a third, another Facebook where people can complain. And that's the thing. And a good portion of the people that are complaining, using Tesla as an example, have never even sat in one. Right. They've never even sat in one. Now somebody who is driven one, looked at all the specs, done all this, then if they don't want to buy it, like me, because of the mileage, and that's the only reason really for me, and the infrastructure of the chargeability, I think that see, I'm a huge pro Elon, and I don't care whether Elon Musk likes Trump, whether he wants to date Trump. I could care less. I look at I look at Elon Musk as who he is and what he is innovating right now. I mean, and you think about it, he's done more stuff with auto, space, technology, and and for that reason, I'm I would buy a Tesla tomorrow. I would,
Yeah.
if I felt that they were right. Now, being a gearhead and being a car guy,
Right.
I like, starting up the car and hearing that thing just rumble to life. Well, what did Dodge do? Dodge said, well, you know what? We're not selling as many of our gas guzzlers anymore. So we're going to come out with the Charger E. And the Charger E is a 100% electric vehicle, of which, guess where he gets his motors from? Elon Musk. He gets them from Tesla. But yet they have a button, one of the software things, that when you start it up, you can pick from different sounds. You want it to sound like a stock car. You want it to sound like a hot rod. And you know what? It sounds gimmicky, but why not?
I don't think that'll convert. It'll be a fun thing to play with.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess my bigger point was that, do you even know what you're talking about? So I was thinking about that with the fires. Like, they're saying, well, geez, they should have better infrastructure. Look, their fire hydrants don't even work. But it's like, are you going to design a city's, water system to fight the biggest wildlife fire, ever seen? What sense does that make?
Well, PB, I would buy Elon Musk. Well, I think we need to rephrase that, because when you say, I bet Nurse Dave would buy Elon's rocket if it was under $100,000, that brings, well, I'm a sick pig.
See, I'm with you. I'm not an Elon fanboy. We kind of got into this a little bit. It's fine. We can. That as a representative of a public company, I think he should be controlling what he says, because it affects the stock price, which affects a lot of people.
Sure.
As an individual, he can do whatever the heck he wants. Now, would that stop me from buying a car because I don't agree with some of the stuff he said? No, it's a car. It's for me, and it's my enjoyment, and it's my transportation.
So I assume then that you and Pante are looking for a 3? Is that what you're looking? Is that what's coming from Vegas?
Why?
Or a Y? Now, okay, so the S, we know what it looks like. Beautiful 4-door. The Y, is that their SUV?
It's supposed to be a crossover. The X is the big SUV with the gull wing doors.
So what's the 3? What's the 3 then?
The 3 is just a small 4-door family car.
Okay. It's got it's the one that's got the kind of the cut off end. It doesn't have that smooth slope at the end.
Yeah. And the Y is basically it, but taller, so it's a little easier to get in and out of.
Well, that's cool. But, now, with that being the case, and where you live, obviously charging and infrastructure is probably really, really good. You can go down the street. Now, you don't have a charger at the house, right?
We don't have a charger, but my commute is short enough. I just plug it into a 120 outlet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And, if it gets low, then I'll just let it run through the weekend. And then it's fine. Yeah.
So how often do you have to go and actually go to a charger and charge?
Never.
It? Oh, okay. But you do so, though, every once in a while.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I used to do it because the outlet in the carport here was not grounded. And so I had to go to superchargers.
Oh, okay.
But now I just plug it in a couple times a week and let it charge overnight.
Well, I think some of the argument too with the charging is the length of time it takes to charge. Mm-hmm. By this time next year, from what I've been reading, they're going to have a supercharger or even these third-party chargers that'll charge the vehicle from like 2% to 80%, which I understand you never want to go 100%.
Yeah.
It'll do it in 10 minutes. So that's like going to a gas station.
Closer to 20, but it's still damn fast compared to what they're. And we talked about this before, right? Is this technology is new?
Right. It is.
So don't poo-poo it because it's not perfect now. But anyway, it was more of, starting to think about people, shooting their mouths off about global stuff without really, you apply their argument and it doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's funny how the arguments travel across the country, because I was reading Nextdoor this morning, and there was a guy in one of the retirement communities near us that started complaining about the infrastructure of the fire hydrants and everything in the area because of our wildfire situation. So it's really the same thing. I mean, a wildfire that ravages, well, you remember a couple of years ago when we had that wildfire where we were almost evacuated. Yeah. It can happen anywhere under any circumstances. And when you've got 100-mile-an-hour Santa Ana winds, I don't care who you are or how good of a firefighter you are, you ain't stopping it. It ain't happening. Yeah. I mean, our friend Doug in Colorado, remember when that happened? He almost lost everything. natural disasters happen, and pointing blame at people,
Yeah.
just put the damn
Good.
fire out. Now, I'm like, being an animal person,
Mm.
I'm concerned with all the animals, because when the police come by and say, you got to get out, sadly, if you have to choose between grandma, your wife, and your kids, or your dog, I mean, sure, you're going to
Yeah.
try, but there's going to be, animals, not only the domestic animals, but the wild animals that are out
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
it's
So I'm going to answer this, and I've got a question for you about natural disasters I'm curious about. So
sure.
the answer first, if the plates shifted, we had an earthquake here, getting to work would not be my primary concern, I don't think. But it's just like a gas car that it's got a charge on it right now. I could get back and forth to work for a week before I charged it. But if there's no electricity here because of a major earthquake, the gas pumps aren't working either. So
Right.
there you
Right.
go.
And
Um,
I want to answer this one. Kona wins. I don't know what he's talking about, but I
That's your
can say
dog?
I was going to say from experience, I can tell you that depending on the type of Doritos that he eats, he definitely has Kona wins. He definitely
Man,
has Kona
I
wins.
haven't had a dog for a long time, but that's something you don't forget. You don't hear a thing, and then you're all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my god!"
Well, you don't, but like our Leica, our new husky, she doesn't seem to care, because one day she came up to me and I was petting her, and all of a sudden she pooted, and literally Kona was like, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah.
So, I mean, so anyhow, so you want to ask me about, is this
Well,
an
I didn't.
insurance is this an
No,
insurance
no, no,
question? Oh,
no. But more philosophical, because
okay.
I am in favor of, so like all these areas that are burnt down now, because Southern California a couple years had another one of these, right? Massive
Mhm.
fires wiping out neighborhoods and stuff.
Well,
So I
your
would
own
be in
city,
favor.
in history, your own city is burned to the ground, what, twice? The big 1886 fire,
Right.
and
Yeah.
so
So I would say if you're rebuilding in the hills, first of all, here you now have to have fire breaks around your house by law if
mhm,
you're up in the hills and stuff like that. And I would say the
right.
same thing there, that any new construction ought to have external sprinklers built into the house, because I get that their first priority is saving lives and
Mhm.
structures. But if you had the possibility, especially these multi-million dollar, the stars and all that stuff, they can afford to throw in $125,000 outdoor sprinkler system, right?
Absolutely.
Piped into their pool and stuff. So in the
Absolutely.
same vein, as somebody that doesn't live there, I find it odd the places in the South where they get the floods and stuff, where the levees continue to threaten, and then they keep rebuilding in the same place. To
Right.
me, that seems very odd. That I get you would have roots there and jobs, but to have your house wiped out and then rebuild in the same place
Well, if you look,
without,
well,
what what
perfect
do you think
example of
about
that.
that?
Well, a perfect example of that is the lower Ninth Ward in New Orleans.
Yeah.
It's what, 35 feet below Lake Pontchartrain. But yet, when they rebuilt the levees, I know that they did some more infrastructure, but you always got to be under that guise that, okay, if you decide to build, whether it be in the lower Ninth Ward or whether you build in Arizona up against a state park, or out in the Tules, you have to be very aware that you have a certain responsibility to protect your property. And I think there's where nobody's talking about it, because some people say, it'll never happen to me. Perfect example, the Paradise Fires up in California. I have clients that lost everything. And,
Yeah.
you know, fire mitigation is tough. And like right now, because of all these fires, everybody that has homeowners insurance in the United States, buckle up, because that we share the risk among all states, among all companies. And Arizona went from, and this is an insurance thing, they went from a fire zone 2 to 3 to a fire protection ratio of 9, which means our insurance went up almost 40% in one shot. And that's big money, when you think about it over time, and then you start shopping and stuff like that. So to me, but this happens in every state. Why? And I don't know, it's because it's California, but everybody in the media, I blame the media for this. They focus all this effort on, oh my God, the devastating fires in California. Well, these devastating fires happen in California, Oregon, Colorado, Arizona. They happen everywhere. And to point blame, to get back to that, to point blame at certain government officials, you can do that, but wait until after it's all over with. Wait until the fire investigators go out and say, okay, this hydrant ran out of water because you did not put the money towards getting more water. Then I'm okay with people bitching. But wait until all this is over, because bitching about it now, or like what you said with people saying, oh, they're Hollywood elites, they live in Hollywood, they're this, they're that, their political leaning is this way, they deserve what they get. Nobody deserves it. Nobody.
Yeah. But this is PB point. This is what I'm kind of getting to. Is it, should this be allowed that you got houses crammed up against each other with no, and again, here, I'll say, I don't know. Maybe they do mandate certain fire breaks, but like you said, 100-mile-an-hour winds, you could have a very reasonable 100-yard fire break, and that's not going to do a darn thing when your winds are like that.
Well, here in Arizona
for years, building in the protection, right?
Right. Well, here in Arizona, for instance, we're a fairly arid place. So for years and years and years, from the 1920s, probably till the 1960s, maybe early 70s, a lot of homes were built out of adobe brick. Adobe brick doesn't burn. It doesn't burn at all. And it's very good insulating. But then the cost of adobe to make adobe went crazy. So people started using slump block. Then that got crazy. So now people are building stick homes with stucco and everything else. But about 8 years ago, it was mandated that any home that was built prior to a certain year must have complete sprinkler systems inside the house. That's mandatory. You have to have it. And I agree. I think they should take it one step forward. I think you should have mandatory sprinklers in the house, but you should also have, if you live in an area that is, let's say, a fire protection zone 6 and above, just using that as an example, you should have to have an exterior high pressure sprinkler system. Because now, is it going to put, when you've got temperatures of 2000 degrees, all you're going to do with that sprinkler system is turn it into steam. But if it protects the house enough to where the fire department can move to the next one or the next one or the next one, then I think it'll work, so.
Yeah. And I guess I think about New Orleans the same way people think about California. They think about our earthquakes and why would you live there? And if you decide to live there and there's an earthquake, then that's on you. But you think about New Orleans living under, the water table, and you're like, that's insane. Why would you build anything new there? And shouldn't you be encouraging people to move out of that area and all that? But there's the reality of that's a huge city, and you're not just going to get up and move everybody. But
Arizona's a perfect example of that. And you and I have talked about this. Why in God's name would you want to live in an area where it's 115 for 30 days straight?
I don't know, because you whine when it gets down to 40 degrees.
That's true. But water here is a big issue. I mean, water is going to be the biggest issue here in Arizona if we don't start getting more rain. And we can get into the whole,
it'll be good when we buy Canada, because I think they have a lot of water.
Boy, you were just waiting. You were just waiting to get that one in, weren't you? Yeah, but see, the thing is, if we buy Canada, and it becomes our 51st state, how are we going to get water? Well, we're going to buy Greenland, and we're going to melt all the icebergs. See, it's a plan.
Oh man,
nope. See, we didn't think about that.
you just hack off, one of the icebergs and float it on down here. And
but the plan has already been set out. There was a James Bond movie where that was what he did. He put this huge mirror up in space, and it had a laser beam that heated up.
He was going to destroy.
So
well, what about there was that movie with Schwarzenegger, and he was at Mars.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Total Recall.
When they had those heating elements that went down
and melted the ice cap. Yep, exactly. Yeah. See, now you've impressed me. Yesterday during the Zoom call, we were upset. About the movies that you have not seen, and I almost sent.
I wouldn't say we.
I almost
took it awful personal.
Well, I did, because I'm a movie freak, and not seeing Casablanca. Oh my God, you got to watch it. But actually, Pantea brought up a real good point. And let me answer two questions. Would the steam cloud around the house keep the fire at bay? No. But the initial wetting of the property in advance with all the sprinkler systems would. And yes, the
Wait, you were a
visual would be
fireman,
stunning. Yes.
right? I thought when you first go, if you have an engulfed structure and you put water inside, it does immediately turn to steam.
Yeah, it's called steam conversion. Mhm.
And I thought that put the fire out.
No, it doesn't put the fire out. It helps, but that steam is really hot because it's an immediate steam conversion. Because you're talking temperatures of 2,000 degrees. So no, it wouldn't put the fire out. But if you have enough wetness or moistness,
Moist. Yeah, you want your house moist.
you want your house moist, and you want your ground moist. That would work. Now, Pantea brought up a really good point. Or transport water from the Gulf. Wow, you guys are just having fun with this. No, but actually, believe it or not, this brings up another point. Look at the state of Utah. State of Utah is beautiful, and it's arid, but they have some of the best desalinization in the country.
Yeah.
And I know in California there's been talk about Arizona and California getting involved in desalinization. But the billions, and I mean with a big B, the billions to create that infrastructure. And you brought up a point very early on in this conversation that nobody wants to talk about. The people voted these things. It's not like one person said, we're not going to do this, because I know everybody's blaming your governor, saying he did this, he did that. Well, no, the people voted to do that.
Well, the infrastructure was there before him. So
right. And same with the desalinization. They had a plan to pump water from the Pacific Ocean to Yuma, Arizona. Okay. And then and Arizona was going to pay for the desalinization, and then we were going to share the water. The problem is the cost of bringing water from San Diego.
See, that's insane, because the whole, can't we all benefit each other, right? So it's not just it's healthcare, it's all that stuff. It's getting over, I don't want to pay more because it's going to cost me more, but then I'm going to complain about the way things are. You don't need to pump it. You build desalinization here right next to the ocean, and then you share it around,
right?
Except for Vegas, they blow their water up in the air in fountains and stuff, so forget that. But
by the way, I was going to say that vehicle, I meant to say that vehicle that's being shipped from Vegas.
Body glitter.
No, make sure Stefan's not stuck in the back.
Ooh.
Make sure Steven's
I'm hoping he's keeping an eye on it.
But he brought, not a joke, but the towering furnace suggested sprinklers are not always a solution. Yeah, I mean, if fire gets hot enough, the only thing you can really throw at it is we had some stuff here that like halon, but you can't use halon outside because it removes the oxygen, or any type of powdered type fire suppression. But again, those chemicals that do that are not cheap. And a lot of people think that these big air tankers, and by the way, there is one video that you need to see that shows the DC-10 coming through the canyon. It's amazing to watch.
Those guys are cool.
But that fire suppression mud that goes out, the retardant, is not necessarily meant to put out the fire. It's meant to build a break so the firefighters can get in and take care of it. I mean, wildland firefighting, that probably one of the hardest jobs on the planet, because it's just back-breaking.
Those guys, and my understanding, at least back in the day, because I worked with the guy, oh my gosh, now 30 years ago, oh my gosh. He was a hot shot in the summertime, but he didn't get paid much. He did it because it was a blast. Those dudes that parachute out into the wilderness to manually cut.
Smoke jumpers. Yep. But your mom brings up a good point, and you know that I'm a conservative. I mean, we've established that. But do I agree that a 2% tax on billionaires would help? Sure, absolutely it would. I mean, I think that all of us need to share in the risk mitigation. Now, some people will argue, and we talked about this, well, I don't live in a place where it burns. You know what? Guess what? Everywhere can burn. I mean, I just, I think there's been so much. I think what you said makes perfect sense. San Diego picks a plot of property that donates it to the group. Arizona comes in and says, okay, we will build the plant. And then some other state says, okay, well, we'll help with this. Because when you think about it, we're 70% water, 70%. And you're going to tell me we have water issues? and I know it's how much money you throw at it, but
It's a
if
money.
we're
Yeah.
70% water and we know that we can desalinate seawater, then why aren't we doing it? For instance, astronauts go into space. Guess what they drink for water? Their
Ooh, every
pee.
house could have a
Pee. Yeah. Well, actually, Tucson is actually doing that starting next
what?
year. Yeah, they're going to take.
Home?
No, it's going to be centralized, but they're going to take affluent and they're going to take it through all the filters and turn it into drinking water.
I think some cities have that, and people. I don't know. I remember watching some show because people freaked out that they could possibly be drinking water that came through the sewer
Mhm.
treatment, but then they test it and it's like cleaner than
Cleaner.
clean. But the
That's
fact
right.
that it got flushed down or something like that,
Right.
people freak out and they don't want that.
Well, I'll
But-
tell you what, you're talking about me being one of the baddest ass firefighters that I've ever met is this young lady called Tig Lily. She was a firefighter as well. In fact, she was my boss, but she still is, but that's another story. But the thing is, Tucson just came out with a brewery, and their brewery, the beer that is made,
Yeah.
is from effluent water that's been filtered and filtered and filtered and filtered. But people have this thing. It's like everybody talks about world hunger, right? If we were willing to eat bugs, we'd solve world hunger. It's just that it's that mental.
You know what? Should we just form our Dave and Dave party right now?
Exactly. I think it would work. The Dave and Dave party.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
what's that
it
say?
tastes like Guinness.
Tastes
beer made out of effluent.
See, she's with you. She doesn't like beer.
That's fine. That's fine.
She doesn't like beer either.
Some people don't like peated scotch, so
yeah, but that's a genetic issue. That's not, people that don't like peanut. That's a genetic issue. Well, actually, the cricket flour. There is a grocery store that actually sells cricket tortilla chips. It's Kroger Fries. They sell. I've had the bag in my hand, then I've put it back. Then I've had it in my hand, and then I've put it back.
Oh, come on, man! I'd eat those. You don't even.
Well, that's
just it. The crunch of the bug, the shape of the bug. Once it's a flour, which is weird because it's got to be the expense, right? The same thing like electric cars, anything that's new, because it would be super cheap, I would imagine, if it was standard to make stuff out of crickets. But it's like specialty, whatever, and it's got to be more expensive and all that. So nobody's going to buy it. But
right. Well, that's out here we have mesquite trees. And the mesquite trees, they have a bean. And that bean can be ground into mesquite flour and make bread and tortillas and everything else. And there's only a very small amount of people that are doing it, but yet you can do it at home. If you get a grinder, you get the beans, and we've actually thought about doing that. We just haven't done it yet, so.
Are you allowed to just go out on public land because now wait, mesquite, is it protected?
Mm-mm.
They're all over the darn place because your cacti are protected, right?
Not all of them, only saguaro. They're protected as far as a plant, but the fruit, because the saguaros provide a fruit, the prickly pear provide a fruit, the barrel cactus provide a fruit. And I mean, for thousands of years, that's how the Native Americans survived. And Sharon and I have gone out and harvested prickly pear, the fruit, and it tastes like a mixture between plum and watermelon. It's delicious. And they've got prickly pear barbecue sauce. They got prickly pear.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So you can survive in the desert, and actually water, when people say, oh, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you break down, you're dead. No, you take the prickly pear paddle, you take a lighter, you burn off all the stickers, and then you cut that up, and you can actually suck on it, and you've got it's not the greatest tasting water, but it's fluid to keep you alive. And then you can take those and make what they call nopales, which means you cut it up, boil it, skin it, boil it, and it tastes like broccoli.
And here we come, full circle back to food. Love it.
See, you know, it's amazing how quickly we can eat up an hour talking about nothing. Now, did you get to complain about what I said you were going to complain about, or no?
Yeah, it was people
Okay.
making arguments that they
Okay.
really don't even what they're
Right.
saying doesn't make sense. Yeah.
You know, as much as cliche as it sounds, here I am, a conservative. Here you are on, more on the Dem side, but yet we agree on 99.9% of stuff because we're human. And not to get philosophical here, but that old adage that says, why in the bleep bleep can't we just all get along? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Because to me, our society and the world will be destroyed because of divisiveness. If we all got together and imagine what we could do when, well,
Yeah.
use post World War II. I mean, look at what we created.
So
And we're
what we
all on the
need
same
is
page.
Elon to wait. So first, I went on a P Beats posted
Mhm,
chirps.
mhm.
I assume tortilla chips, and then this chocolate chirp cricket cookie. Are
Now,
these
could you?
real things? Because I
Yes, they are.
want to know. Really?
Now, but you can't have those, right? Because I know you
Oh,
couldn't. I know you couldn't have scorpions. We
right.
felt we did
You're
we
right.
determined that.
Yeah. Dang it. There goes
But,
my.
yeah, but can you have crickets? Have you checked?
That's
Is it
what I
considered?
looked at, right? Because the
Oh,
chocolate
okay.
covered crickets were the problem.
Right, 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 right.
Dang
But
it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think we're onto something here. When we tried to decide a subject that we're going to talk about, we struggle. But when we just say, let's just see what happens.
Whatevs.
And have you noticed how interactive the barflies are when we talk about nothing?
Yeah. Love them. They're like,
Oh, ouch. Shots fired. Shots fired. We don't get along because some of us don't like Guinness. No,
I wish I like beer.
Mhm.
You know, when I lived in Oregon, I really was bummed I didn't like beer because they got microbreweries all over the dang place.
Now, does your dad or your mom like beer?
Dad likes beer. They don't drink much, but
What is it about the beer you don't like? Is it the hoppiness that you
the
don't like?
hop flavor, I think, because I get that same taste with every beer I've ever tried, and hops is the
Really?
right.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, that's all right.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
any
there we go.
final questions from the barflies or comments before we sign off for the evening?
There you go. And see, in fact, I'm looking out onto the San Francisco Bay, right, thinking
Mhm.
that's the infrastructure they need to build in a big pipe that goes into the bay with huge pumps that goes up to the top of the hill that if we ever had a massive fire, there's an endless supply of water right there.
Right, right, right. But once again, what's it come down to? Dinero.
So, I was going to say, here's what we need is just like Bill Gates, he made his money and then he becomes a philanthropist. We need Elon to get blasting to Mars and all this stuff out of his system, and then his children to get older and have a few words with him and to use his innovativeness and all of his bucks to do some of this stuff.
Mhm.
Because he's got it. So all that it takes money and all this to build up, he could do it, right? And then start throwing out desalination things that you can put in your basement. And
Well, yeah, because the thing is, if he can create a rocket that you can catch with a fork, or a rocket that you can, or a
right, it
rocket that
still
can
looks
land
like science
itself,
fiction.
yeah, and if it can land itself, you're going to tell me you can't figure out a way to make salt water into drinking water or water? Because it doesn't matter. The salt water will put fires out. It's water, so
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Let's have a Drinks and Dave meeting on Alcatraz. I've never been there. I've never been to Alcatraz.
It's neat.
Actually, I've never been to San Francisco. That's the one place I've never been to.
That's crazy.
Well, we're working on it.
Yeah.
Sharon's been there a few times, but we want to go. We definitely want to go. So, because I've never been to the Redwoods either.
Oh,
And I hear
not a lot of rocks there, just a bunch of trees.
A lot of big trees.
Yeah.
Big trees. So I think we solved the world's problems again, didn't we?
All right, that's good. Yeah, not bad for an hour. Yeah.
Let's just say only in America land. I never thought about it that way, but that needs to be on a t-shirt. Only in America, where we are so overweight because of the foods we eat that we've learned how to catch a rocket with a fork.
So Tiggley, this is how they do it on cruise ships, that they desalinate through reverse osmosis. And it's crazy because some people will still bring cases of water with them on the cruise ship.
Really?
But the water you get out of the taps is
desalinated
as clean
water?
as any bottled water you can buy. Yeah.
Well, okay, so that brings up another thing. Why aren't the cruise companies saying, "Hey, we're going to park our ship off Long Beach Pier and desalinate as much as you guys need and come and pick it up, or we'll pump it to you and use it to put out the fires."
Well, because they like you said, they could use salt water. They do use salt water.
Yeah.
Right. If there's not too windy to land skim the top of the ocean there to fill up the tanker, but
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, buddy.
So, well, I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Well, we're on a theme here. I mean, our next tasting is probably going to be, did we decide we're going to probably do gin down the road, or?
We mentioned it. And I know you want to do Doritos.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
We should start. So the question is, how long is a bag of Doritos good if it's not opened? Because we'd want to collect a lot of different flavors.
Well, and the thing is, are there Doritos in other countries that have, how like when you go to the Coca-Cola Museum, you go to the Coca-Cola Museum in Vegas and they have, the Coca-Cola that's in Taipei that tastes like a Gymshark, that would be interesting to see if there's Doritos or tortilla chips. Well, we could do that. We could do chips from around the world. Now, it could be shrimp chips. It could be Doritos. It could be. That's what we do, Dave. We go from the Southwest, you have the tortilla chip. From California, you have whatever chip, like a sun chip. I just use sun chip because I like sun chips. From back east, we use the I don't know, the shrimp chips.
I think they're pretty universal.
What, shrimp chips?
No, like I don't think that there's a type of chip that's in the United States. It's just in one area.
That's true. We're going to have to research. We have to put our crack research team on this, and maybe we'll do a chips. And Hendrick's gin, yes, that's among our favorites. Not Morpheus. It's not Morpheus.
What's that?
No, but what is that gin
Orpheum.
that we got from
Orpheum?
Orpheum. Yeah, that is a delicious gin. So, and like I said, if there's any benefactors that would like to hand deliver us samples of different gins, we would be more than happy to sample them. And then you would be on our final show if you're an expert.
Oh man,
because that rum thing was fantastic. It was great. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I think we had a good show, and I think we entertained. If nothing else, we kept people here. And again, if you have any subject matter that you would like, please email us at Drinks and Dave, and we hope. Oh, there you go. Okay, all right. Guess what?
We have our first Kit Kats. Kit Kats are all over the darn place.
That's right. So Rich, we need you to do some research for us. Beer sampling for Dave's face. Well, we did that. Remember, we did that with the hot sauce.
Yeah. Hey, and I'll tell you, but I'm learning. I have our top 3 rums are now in the warehouse here.
Yes.
And I bought a bottle of Crystal hot sauce after the hot sauce show. So,
perfect. Well, you know what we could do? Donuts from around the world, pastries from around the world.
Stale pastries from around the world.
Well, no. We'd have to have them hand delivered and stuff like that. Because I don't know about you guys, but all of a sudden here we have these specialty donut shops.
Yeah.
Now and stuff like that. So, all right, kids. Well, thank you so very much for joining us. We hope you'll join us again next week at 5 p.m. Pacific. Now, remember, in March, we end up going back to 6 p.m. Well, it's always 6 p.m. in my world, but there is talk that daylight savings time may be going away in 2025. We'll see.
Big year. 52 states and no daylight savings time. Can't wait.
Well, but you know what? Puerto Rico's got to become a state before Canada. I'm sorry.
We'll include everybody.
So it'll be 53 states. Heck, we might as well even buy the Azores while we're at it. So
Right.
then we can control the hurricanes. So toilet paper from around the world. That would be a very chocolates from around the world. There you go. Because I've got a source that can get them directly from Switzerland. So
All right.
we can do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again next week, same time, same bat channel. Dave, say goodnight.
Night, Dave.
See you guys. Have a great day.